Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Since January 2021, there have been over 700,000 illegal crossings across the southwest border, a 21-year high that you, in fact, predicted. This month, the Biden administration officially rescinded the migrant protection protocols. And I want to ask you about that. But first, my home state of Texas passed $1 billion in taxpayer dollars because the federal government is failing to step up to the plate. Texas has had to take this crisis in its own hands. The governor talked about spending now $250 million to begin border wall construction and is now taking donations. Are you, sir, prepared to, it is a federal responsibility, the border, not a state. We all understand that. Are you prepared to reimburse Texans for their border security expenses?
Congressman McCaul, it's good to see you again. It's been a while since we worked together when you were chairman of the committee and I served as the deputy secretary. I believe it is indeed a federal responsibility. We are fulfilling that responsibility. We are executing our strategy and we will continue to do so.
Well, it is a federal responsibility, and it, at some point, the federal government needs to pick up the cost and the tab on this. With respect to migrant protection protocols, I've been I have been very harsh in my criticism of the rescission of Remain in Mexico and the asylum cooperation agreements with Central America. I think that was a foreign policy masterpiece by the Trump administration and a foreign policy blunder by the Biden administration, which has created this self-inflicted wound, which opened up the border to the traffickers. The traffickers are the ones winning here, not the children, for sure. And now we'll probably see 1 million come into this country, along with all the drugs, including fentanyls, which are now killing people, not only in the Northeast, but in my home state of Texas. I've seen many deaths take place and the apprehensions are going up. What is your plan to deal with this migrant surge? I know you went down to Mexico, but please tell me you're negotiating with Central America and Mexico. You can call it whatever you want, but some agreement with them to stop this crisis that we're now in.
We have a multi-tiered strategy, Congressman, as I think you well know. One, we are addressing the root causes of irregular migration that have persisted for quite a number of years, peaks at several times. You and I worked together to address peaks over the many years, number one. Number two, we are building legal pathways, alternatives to irregular migration, so people don't have to take the perilous journey. We're rebuilding and expanding the Central American Minors Program, building processing centers in the countries of origin. And third, we are indeed addressing the tools that we have to bring consequences to bear when individuals seek to avoid detection.
If I can reclaim my time,
addressing the smuggling organizations.
I know it's called Rebuilding Home in Guatemala. I talked to the ambassador a lot, and that's great to have these processing centers. But until you change these policies that were rescinded, the traffickers are not going to choose those centers. They're going to choose to make 15 million a day and $500 million a month by taking these children on this dangerous journey. I would ask that you, as I know you are, work with the State Department. We have the Development Finance Corporation. When I talk to the Guatemalan ambassador, he says, I don't really want aid, I want trade. He wants private investment in Central America. We created, and statutorily into law, the Development Finance Corporation. And there are other avenues as well to work with the private sector to get private investment in Central America, because it's one area where you and I agree on this one, is that until we fix that, we're going to continue to have a migration problem. So I hope you can work with
Gentleman's
the
time
State
from
Department
Texas
in fixing
has
this.
expired.